Hi, and welcome to today's discussion. Today, I will be covering how do project managers measure project success. A very important topic, really. Understanding how has your project been successful throughout the life cycle and every stage. So the things I'll be covering is how do you define the project success or elements of the what defines project success. And then I'll cover again monitoring control performance, but in specifically for measuring success within your project, and then we'll look at assessing project quality, because again success could be measured by the quality of delivery, etc. And then also the final element will be evaluating project results. so so today, as I said, the discussion is how do project managers measure project success. um, so really, the first stage is that you need to define project success. What is how do you measure project success, and how are you going to define it throughout your project? And that's really important. Um, Now, the first thing is really, I think you need to work with your stakeholders to define a success criteria. What will determine your project to be successful? What are those things that will say, yes, we have successfully delivered the project when you get to the end, without really having some sort of measure or some sort of criteria? You really don't know whether you've succeeded in delivering your project. Um, and there's different types of success criteria, such as the scope. You'll have the document, the scope of works, that defines this is what needs to be delivered, and within that you will find elements of uh, what it will be defined as your project success, or elements of your project success. There's schedule, as well as budget, there's quality, there's all sorts of things that you could use to define project success. But some key elements I tend to do is, which I like to cover, is deliverables, critical success factors, critical success criteria, and key performance indicators. So let me just go through the deliverables. Now, as a definition, deliverables are what the project will create. You need to define what you're going to create. Is it going to be a service? Is it an object, a physical object? Get those defined. Again, work with your stakeholders to understand that. Next is, what are your critical success factors? Those are what the deliverables require. Okay, so what does, for able to deliver these deliverables that you've defined, what is required to get them over the line. So you've got resource, you've got people, you've got kit, you've got booking rooms, whatever it may be. What do you need to do to get there? And that's what your critical success factors are to get there. Next is your critical success criteria. What will make the deliverable successful? How, if you've got to deliver, I don't know, an IT system, within what are your success criteria? I.e., it has a field in a specific location, it has certain data in that location, it has, it, when you click tab, it goes to the right, but etc., etc. There's a whole raft of things. Installing something physical or building something physical. What is that criteria that gives you that measure of success? The other one is key performance indicators. Now, my definition here is that proof that critical success criteria was delivered. So how do you measure that a critical success criteria was actually measured? Key performance indicators, or abbreviated as KPIs, are very useful when you're trying to, within your project, to tell people how your project has delivered against a key performance indicator throughout the project. You can define that at early stages, such as, we want, at stage one, we want the database or system to have all the data imported, etc. And how do we measure that? Because it's got X number of fields, X number of data entries, etc. Or a physical activity where you're building, I don't know, just use a building a car, putting the four wheels on, could be one of your success criteria or key performance indicators, or the engine starts, whatever it may be. That might be a key performance indicator, but those are the keys. So again, for project success, I would say you need deliverables, critical success factors, critical success criteria, and key performance indicators. The next part really is, how do you monitor and control the performance throughout the project? Now, that's really important. Uh, Again, with all, as you say, throughout the whole of your project lifecycle, you need to have some sort of control and monitoring. And again, control and monitoring of success criteria is very, very important. Um, there are tools out there that you could use. Again, KPI, key performance indicators, is one. Uh, Earned value analysis is another one. But again, I think you need to understand within your environment what best fits. Not everything, textbook initially works. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, actually, I'm going to monitor and see where we are at stage one, stage two, stage three, and then you have, certain steps that you wish that you've covered, and that is how you monitor and control your goal. So step one will have 10 activities, and as you progress, once you've achieved all 10, you've met your KPI and you've actually delivered some value back to the project. But again, it's monitoring and controlling performance is not something you do once or twice. You do it throughout the project. It needs to be at regular intervals. Depending on the size of the project, I'd probably do it weekly. It doesn't have to be too intrusive. Once you've done the initial groundwork, it can be straightforward, and you can measure where you are, how you're progressing, have we delivered. Within your sprints, you can use your Kanban board quite easily to tell you where you are, how well you're doing, etc. So that's really, really good. That's another tool there as well. And again, like we said before, your deliverables, critical success factors, critical success criteria, and KPIs are key for your monitoring. So you've got to keep those updated, etc. And how you choose to do that is up to you. But again, using a simple document such as a RAID log, or having an additional tab within your RAID log that covers all these is quite useful. A scope of works is a good element where you can extract the information, but I would say, create a separate document for this where it is an agreed set of steps of that you said with all your stakeholders, that this is how these are our success criteria, and this is how we're going to measure it throughout the project, so that everybody's aware of how you're going to do that. Next one is assessing project quality. Now, again, there's no point without your whole project delivering something if it doesn't meet a certain degree of quality standards. How are you going to assess and confirm that what you've delivered is actually of good quality and standard that somebody could approve, sign off, and allow you to move on to next? One of those is, simply doing a quality audit. I've done it in many of my projects, is where I create a run book or, a list of simple tasks for a piece of work we're delivering, which says these are all the activities all the people will be doing throughout the whole piece of work. This transformation will have these activities, who's the owner, who's responsible. And as you progress through that, you can see what quality of work. And that, again, that you can't do that without your input from your stakeholders. That's senior stakeholders, that's people doing the work for you, etc. Another one is where to assess project quality is, speak to your customer. What do they think? If you're delivering direct to customer, get them to give you an assessment. Are we doing what you expect us? Are we not? And I would say if you are selling something or we're delivering something directly to a customer which has been sold by your business, this is a really good one. You must make sure your customers on side. And again, they are your senior stakeholders, so you need to keep them on side and informed at all stages. So, assessing project quality is not simply you doing it, but bringing your stakeholders in and your other people within your project team, such as your peers, are very, very key. Now, if you've got a team of engineers, bringing them all into a discussion to confirm that you've delivered part A of a software system, whatever it may be, and it meets a good quality standard, that would be good. And then you've ticked that off. And then that kind of moves on really swiftly to evaluating project results. It's really important to evaluate the project result, and sometimes it happens, lessons learned, but I say you should do that throughout, because your project isn't a straight line. It's not going to go through, it's not going to go perfectly. You're always going to have problems. You just need to keep evaluating all the things and making sure you're on track. There's loads of stuff you can use. There's tools out there, just about you've got your project plan that can evaluate. You've got your quality audit. You've got all sorts of things that can help you evaluate your project results. Post-project evaluation or lessons learned is probably the best. to really say, how did we do? How could we do things better? What lessons are we going to learn from this, and to move things forward? And that's a real big one. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't do this. We're all under pressure to deliver and move on to the next project as quickly as possible. But lessons learned for future projects is huge. It's like the encyclopedia of all the things that you could have done better, which could help other PMs throughout. But evaluating project results is really, really important. So in summary, we've covered, defining project success through deliverables, critical success factors, critical success criteria, and key performance indicators. You're going to go monitor and control those things, assessing project quality and evaluating project results. Thank you for listening. I hope that helps.